Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. My name is Patricia Hanbidge and I am your horticulturist. Lots of people that I've known for a long time like to call me Patty Plant. So today on Grow we're going to talk about mealybugs, and particularly mealybugs on orchids. So you might be thinking to yourself, what? But you know, where I live, we've got a little bit of white stuff on the ground, and it's definitely finally cooled off enough that our tropicals or subtropicals, a lot of our house plants can't be outside. So you bring plants inside, and our environments in the house are not always conducive to the best type of conditions for houseplants. So what do we start seeing almost immediately? Bugs. Bugs that we don't like. So at any rate, as you see in front of me here, I've got a Phalaenopsis orchid. And if you look closely, right there, there's a funny little white critter. And if you look on the back of this orchid, it's got, let me see here, it's got all sorts of little critters. Kind of looks like cotton. So those are mealybugs. And you might be thinking, okay, well, what do I do? I'm infested. And yes, you are. But, well, yes, the orchid is. But at any rate, mealybugs aren't the worst critter in the world. They're actually a scale insect. And if you look at this little guy here, he kind of looks interesting. I don't know if you can see real well, but I mean, do a search on the internet or open up your favorite bug book, something like that, and you can have a look at what mealybugs are. They're actually a scale insect, and what they do is that white kind of covering that looks kind of like, I don't know, cotton on your plant is actually the home that they build around themselves to protect themselves, so it's harder for you to get rid of these little critters. So interestingly enough, I've got some water and just some plain isopropyl alcohol. Don't drink this, folks. It'll kill you, but it'll also kill these mealybugs. And I like to use this kind of product to clean up mealybugs. And you know, bugs are pretty amazing critters because they're almost all over the world except for the polar ice caps and the center of volcanoes. And they've been around for a long time, and they have the ability to adapt themselves to surviving and can remake themselves and change their lifestyles and a lot of different things so that they can survive. So mealybugs, as long as you catch those infestations fairly quickly, you can control them quite easily. If you let them get away on you and they get into the root tissue or the soil, then they're really tough to get rid of. So as with taking care of any kind of pest problem, it's a good idea to do really good scouting and monitoring. So if you've ever done any kind of integrated pest management, the first step of any kind of problem solving with plants is scouting and monitoring. And you know, orchids are so cool because the blooms stay around for months. And I mean, you know, actually this is not a species orchid. This was an orchid I got, gosh, I don't even remember where I got it, but it's not a specific species. I probably got it at one of the bigger box stores. And the secret, if you're buying indoor plants from these locations, is to just make really sure that you get them as soon as they come in so that you get them in the best type of condition possible. So mealybugs, a scale insect. So a scale insect is pretty interesting because what they do is they suck the juices out of the plant. And on this orchid, where's the mealybug but on the bloom? So if you use alcohol on the bloom, and you're probably going to damage that bloom because orchid blooms are really quite tender. You don't want to be handling them, and you definitely don't want to put a desiccant like alcohol on them because that bloom is not going to last so long. And I mean, gosh, this orchid has been blooming, I don't know, how long has this orchid been blooming, Sprout? Sprout's sitting in the background here with Zeus. Do you want to come and say hello? You and Zeus want to come say hello?
2 years.
I don't know. No, it hasn't been blooming 2 years. It's only been blooming for a month or so, and it'll last for a really long time. And what's really interesting about Phalaenopsis is you see this spike here. You can see there's more buds coming. So when the blooms are done, sometimes you can get some more. Do you want to say hello? Quick, say hello, Sprout. And Zeus, do you want to say hello? Zeus is always in the background here. This is our Yorkie puppy. Hello, Zeus. Okay, I gotta finish talking about Mealybugs. So, bugs are really, really smart, and the sweetest part of the plant is no doubt but the blooms. Tender, lovely. I mean, if you've ever put blooms in your salads, you know that they lend a beautiful flavor and different texture and that kind of thing. So anyways, getting back to these little scale insects. So all I have done is I've dipped just a cotton Q-tip, and what I'm going to do is just take this little guy off. So now I've got the little so-and-so. It's hard to see. I'm trying to see when you can focus. Anyway, I've got it on my Q-tip. So you want to squish them, that's for sure. Now in different parts of the plant, if you use alcohol, so it's dipped in alcohol, and again, you just very carefully, and I'm going to rinse this with water because I really like the blooms to last as long as possible. And you see what those little suckers have happened. They've gotten brown. It's basically dried up their little home. I'm just going to dab that with water because that alcohol is very drying. So very ugly little critters, but you can control them. Cotton balls or cotton little pads are really good for taking care of mealybugs as well. So any rate, scouting and monitoring is really important, so you get a hold of that critter right away before they do a lot of damage, because whenever you're assessing damage on a plant, you want to ensure that you're getting to it before that threshold of damage or loss of product gets devastating. So all I'm going to do with this whole orchid is just kind of clean up all the mealybugs on the stems or on the leaves of plants. Alcohol is fine to use, but remember it is quite drying, so maybe just dab it off with some water after. And if you catch the critters in time, then your plant is going to last for a longer period of time without damage. And of course, if those little critters are on the blooms, then they're going to do a lot better. So at any rate, mealybugs will infest a lot of different plants, usually the ones that you love the most. So scouting and monitoring, folks, make sure you're watching what is happening on your, in your garden and on your plants. And hey, Wandy, thanks for the thumbs up. So thank you, folks, for joining me. I'm trying to find a new time to do the Grow Live presentation on Facebook. We used to do it Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm trying to find a good time, so if you have any choice, if you like to really watch the live sessions, then for sure I'll come once a week, but we might, change that time around until I find something that's an ideal time. However, you can also view these videos on my YouTube channel Grow at any time that's convenient with your lifestyle, 24/7. If you like what you see on my Grow channel, please subscribe. Let me know what's happening in your garden and with your plants. If you have questions or need some assistance from a horticulturist, then hey, I'm in the comfort of your home. So as long as you turn me on, that is. So at any rate, thank you for joining me, folks. I'll see you next week. Wherever you are, I hope you're happy. I hope that you are staying safe and that you're growing indoors or outdoors, whatever the climate allows you in your area. So thanks for watching, folks. See you next time. Bye now.